What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, we're diving back into the Great League with a double dragon backline, Altaria and Shadow Dragonite with a Galarian Stunfisk lead. This team actually really impressed me. I ran this on Saturday for the Go Battle Day for a couple sets, as I decided to try a lot of different teams, and this was one of them, and it was made by a member of my patron community, so shout out to them. This team did really well for me. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, getting into the first battle. We have Stunfisk on the lead versus Lantern. Now, we'll have to see if this is Water Gun or Spark. It is going to be the Spark, so I'm going to go ahead and stay in, as we can do a lot of damage with that Earthquake, right? It can near one-shot, and Surf doesn't really threaten right away. It will later on, as you guys can see. Basically, two Surfs, and I start to get a little bit worried, but one Earthquake is what they really have to look out for. And if this lands, which it does, I'm going to swap right away into Shadow Dragonite to farm down instantly so they can't get to another Surf. Alright, so we maintain the health there on our Galarian Stunfisk, and we do see a Trevenant come in. This is actually very good for us. This tells me that they are weak in the back to Shadow Dragonite. If their best answer is a Trevenant right here, we are looking very good. So I'm going to go ahead and let this charge move go through. We're going to go ahead and sweep with that Altaria, as Lantern was probably their only counter to Flyers, and they decided to go for the Seed Bomb, which is even better because it's not enough damage to take us out since we heavily resist it. So Altaria is going to go ahead and come in. Let's see the final Pokemon. It is actually going to be a Noctowl instead. So this is actually still very good for us. Remember, we still have Galarian Stunfisk. We still have 2 shields, and we have our Altaria now. But what's pretty cool is the Noctowl here does have the top hat there, which is pretty nice. But Moonblast here is going to make quick work of Noctowl, as it will do quite a bit of neutral damage, and they decide to let it go. And now we can just Dragon Breath down. Typically, Noctowls will probably no-shield that one thing. It's a Sky Attack. All right. Good game. Moving to the next one, we have Stunfisk on the lead versus Trevenant now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and swap into Shadow Dragonite, start getting ahead on energy, and they're once again deciding to stay in, so I wonder what their backline is, as they're not swapping out. We're going to go ahead and shield the potential Shadow Ball, which it was. Perfect. That's a lot of damage stopped. We would have been one shot, and we will see Mandibuzz come in. So we're going to go ahead and go for Dragon Claw now. It does quite a bit of neutral damage, and then we're going to throw the Superpower next, but we actually get a shield, which was very nice. I was actually kind of surprised we got a shield there, which is now going to open the door for us to throw the Superpower, which is still going to do a lot of neutral damage, and now they're going to be forced to throw energy right here. Granted, I mean, I think I could have made it to the Dragon Claw if they tried to farm down. But either way, we have shield advantage right now, or even shields, I should say, and we can come in with Galarian Stunfisk and load up on a bit of energy. Now, I don't want to get hit with too many foul plays, as it does a good amount of neutral damage. What I'd rather do is make sure I get this Mandibuzz out of there before another foul play, which we do right here, and then look to sweep with Altaria, because they kind of showed that they were slow on the swap in, which means they might be weak in the back, and instead we actually see a Vigoroth, which means they were weak in the back. Trevenant decides to come back in, and that's going to be a good game, very well played, as they decide to surrender. Right, moving to the next one, we have Stunfisk versus Stunfisk. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely, I do not like these lead matchups. It is a mind game and a half, because is it the Earthquake or is it the Rock Slide? We never know, and most of the time, when I throw an Earthquake, it gets shielded, and when I shield their charge move, it's a Rock Slide. It happens all the time. I think it's just, yeah, it's just so bad. So now what I need to do is try to catch the Earthquake, which is what I'm going to do here. I catch the charge move, and I'm hoping that this is an Earthquake, but it's not. They decided to go for another Rock Slide, so now I'm in a very tough situation, and they decide to go back to back right here, which is fine by me. That means they're basically energy dry. So now my Galarian Stunfisk has a little bit of an advantage, but we lost our Dragonite, and I don't know what their backline is yet. So we got to come back in with Galarian Stunfisk. We're going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake now. If I get a second shield from them and I get Rock Slide baited again, I'm going to be very frustrated. But we boom him. Boom! Down goes the Stunfisk. We see Medicham now come in. So this is actually going to be a close one, because Medicham is really loading up on energy. And if they have Ice Punch, that's pretty deadly for Altaria. Now we go for the Earthquake to get them low, and now we're going to swap out into Altaria right away. I don't know what that final Pokemon is yet, but we are not in a good position right here, as Ice Punch is going to do a lot of super effective damage. So we're going to go ahead and shield this one, as it would KO us, and commit to the farm down. Now my hope is that they don't have a hard counter in the back, and they're not swapping out. Maybe, yeah, they're not swapping out, which is I think a slight mistake, because it is going to be a Trevenant in the back, which means I'll be able to get to 2 Sky Attacks. I think in hindsight, had they swapped out, I don't think I would have made it to double Sky Attacks by the time they got to a Shadow Ball, so that might have been a good game. So a slight error on my opponent's side, but that's okay. You can't, you just got to make the best plays that you can on your side. And for anyone watching, in that situation, if you're the Metacham, throw the double Ice Punch and then bail out, or even throw the, once you get the shield. Alright, so we got Metacham on the lead. We're going to go ahead and swap into Dragonite. And then we got a shield right here. Ice Punch is going to one-shot us, and if they decide to come in with something like Galarian Stunfisk or Walrein or whatever, we have a lot of energy for that. Now, they decide to come in with Noctowl, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Dragon Claw, as it will still do a lot of neutral damage. And so let's see if we get a shield. No, we don't. So we're going to go ahead and try to sneak in the Superpower, but they do go for the Sky Attack, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to go ahead and give up a double shield right here. I'm thinking I might be able to get to 2 Dragon Claws in time. My hope is to be able to get a shield and maybe try to KO them, but Wing Attack gains energy so quickly. I try to commit to the farm down, but no, they do get the next Sky Attack. So that's an error on my side. I thought the Dragon Breath would have been enough damage to take them out before they got to that next Sky Attack. But we get ourselves in a good position right here, where the health on Noctowl is low enough for our Galarian Stunfisk to farm down with Mud Shot. Seeing as Mudshot is heavily resisted, that's the best you can ask for. So we're going to go ahead and farm down. We're going to look to throw the Earthquake at the Metacham that is going to be coming back in, and then we got to swap out right away into Altaria. Now, they decide to shield the Sky Attack right, or the Earthquake right there. Did I say Sky Attack earlier? Anyways, and they're now going to go for the Ice Punch. So I'm curious if this is going to be a double flyer backline, but no, it's actually going to be a Lantern. So the game isn't over yet. 1 Earthquake should be enough damage to take out that Metacham that is still in the back. So I just need to do as much damage with Moonblast and Dragon Breath as I can, and try to dance a line with Galarian Stunfisk, because I need to land a Rock Slide and also be able to get to an Earthquake. So it's going to be very, very close. So I'm going to go ahead and load up a little bit, and I loaded up too much, which is very unfortunate right here, as they will be able to get to the Surf. Game isn't over yet. Remember, they have Spark, which does no damage, so I'm going to do my best to load up with 1 HP in a Dream, but I don't think I have enough for Earthquake. I think I'm 2 Mud Shots off, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I was 2 Mud Shots off right there. Had I got to that Earthquake, we could have won that one, but still very close. We got Stunfisk versus the GOAT. Shiny Goat here on the lead, so let's see what they decide to do. They're going to go ahead and swap into Obstagoon, so we're going to come in with that Altaria. We're not going to shield the Night Slash. I may shield later on, because Night Slash only does neutral damage, but it also has that chance to proc the attack boost, which is what we need to look out for. Reason being, if it procs the attack boost on the first Night Slash or the second Night Slash right here, the later ones are going to do more damage. So you don't want to shield the lower damage ones later on, because counter is not going to take us out. It's resisted by us, and our Dragon Breath is doing too much damage to them. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Sky Attack. They decide to let it go, and they do get to another Night Slash in time, but I'm going to let this go because I think I can survive, which we do. That is perfect. Alright, let's see what decides to come in now. It is going to be the Alolan Marowak, and they do have Hex, which means they're going to gain energy very quickly, and I got to be very careful not to get hit with a Fire Blast from the GOAT, which is what I like to do. So I got to be careful it doesn't happen to me. And we're going to go ahead and come in with the Galarian Stunfisk here. That was a bit quick, so I think this is either Shadow Bone or Shadow Ball. Either way, I can let this go. It was a Shadow Ball, and we will see them swap out into Scrafty, so I'm going to come in with Dragonite right away. Dragon Breath here does quite a bit of neutral damage, especially since we're Shadow, and this was too quick to be Foul Play, which means it's just going to be a Power-Up Punch, which I'm going to let that one go. And now this is going to be a deadly race. I don't think I'm going to throw a charge move, because I'm hoping that I can farm down with Dragon Breath. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, yeah, we just barely do it. So now we have 2 Dragon Claws ready to go. it will KO the Alolan Marowak. And we also have a Rock Slide on our Galarian Stunfisk, so that's one shield. Here comes the second shield, and then once Dragonite goes down, we have that Rock Slide ready to go. We're going to go ahead and click that and close this game out. So that is going to be a good battle, very well played. Really risky play there against the Scrafty as they were building up their attack with Power Up Punch, but it paid off. All right, we got Galarian Stunfisk now versus a shiny minty Registeel. So in this situation, I like going just straight for Earthquake. I don't even mess around with shield baits or anything. And if they decide to throw Focus Blast, I go ahead and let it go. Now, I'm gonna let this go. Focus Blast does not KO, and Lock On doesn't do enough damage, but they actually went for Zap Cannon, which was pretty interesting. On their end, my hope is that maybe they're going to try to swap out, no shield this, and then swap out, but Earthquake still does a ton of damage, where now I can overload on energy and go for a Rock Slide, and I can safely swap Galarian Stunfisk out here without having been hit with a Focus Blast. So I think that might have been a slight misplay on my opponent, which we do see a Medicham come in, so we're going to go ahead and go into the Shadow Dragonite now. Clearing the debuff from Zap Cannon, if they did get it, I think we did. Yeah, I think we did. But we're going to go ahead and go for Dragon Claws here. We get a shield, and they're deciding to stay in this matchup. So this tells me that they might be weak in the back. So they're going to go ahead. We're going to let this Ice Punch go through because I'm going to trust in Altaria to sweep this game with a 2-to-1 shield advantage, similar to what we did earlier. So Altaria is going to go ahead and come in. We will give up one shield to this Ice Punch right here. We have two. Why not? We know this is probably going to be the hardest hitting move left in the game, but it's all a matter of what that final Pokemon is, and our switch clock is coming back up. So I can safely let this one go through because I don't know what's in the back. It's not going to KO me, but let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be a Trevenant. Okay, so the same combination we saw before with Medicham and Trevenant, but in this case, excuse me, the Trevenant does have a shield, and I will be able to win the race, which is why I saved a shield for my Altaria. They might have been able to get to the Shadow Ball. Either way, Galarian Stunfisk could have won that game too for us, but that's going to be a good game as we will be one-shotting the Trevenant right here. So this team, it's quietly strong. Boom! It did very, very, very well for me, and I was very surprised. That Dragonite Safe Swap puts a lot of pressure on Pokemon that swap into it, and Altaria does a great job in the back. Alright, another Galarian Stunfisk lead. I dislike these so much. It is an absolute mind game, and especially with a double flyer backline, I really don't like it. Now, one thing we need to note that didn't happen before, I lost CMP tie right there to my opponent, which means that, and they went for Rock Slide as well, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake to get the shield from them. They know that I lose CMP tie, so I'm going to swap into Altaria right now to catch the charge move, because if they know they win CMP tie, they can safely go for Earthquake here, and we catch the Earthquake! It paid off! Beautiful! But now I'm going to have Rock Slides coming at me, but at least the energy now is gone on Galarian Stunfisk, and we're sacrificing the Altaria because it's a bit bulkier as compared to Dragonite to catch those safe swaps. So now we're going to go ahead and go for Sky Attack. Granted, Galarian Stunfisk is going to come out of here with the win in the mid game, but ultimately we kept our Galarian Stunfisk away from being forced to lose that matchup in the mind games of is it a Rock Slide, is it an Earthquake. So Altaria goes down. We have our Dragonite. They're somewhat low on energy. I think I'm ahead of them on energy. So I'm going to go ahead and come in. I'm going to look to go for an Earthquake right here. You don't want to go for Rock Slide right there because it's not going to be enough. Unless you go for Rock Slide, shield, and farm down. But I went for the Earthquake and we get the KO. So let's see what is going to be in the back. It's going to be another Trevenant. So we're going to go ahead and come in, and it's actually going to be a Noctowl that swaps out right here. So like before, we're just going to try to do as much damage as possible with Dragonite. The Dragon Breath and Dragon Claws really put a hurt on the Noctowl right here. So we're going to go ahead and go for double Dragon Claw. Look at how much health. That Noctowl is down to 1/3 of its HP just from Dragon Breath alone. And they decided to let the Dragon Claw through, which is fine by me, because now we're going to see Trevenant come in. So I'm going to go ahead and go for another Dragon Claw here to force that final shield from the opponent, and then just try to do as much damage with Dragon Breath as possible. I'm literally just spamming my phone like, please, just get this thing low, because I need a Rock Slide to basically be able to KO, otherwise I lose. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that Rock Slide right here, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Trevenant, are you going to survive? It barely survived. So we're going to go ahead and Mud Shot down. Extremely close. They were right at the charge move right there. So good game. Very well played. This team did so well for me today. All right, we got Pidgeot now on the lead. Very positive lead for us. We will see a swap out into Medicham, so I'm going to bring in the Altaria. What I like about this situation when it's even shields, fresh energy, they're really not that far ahead on energy on me, is I don't have to shield the first Ice Punch, but they have to shield the first Sky Attack. This is what makes Altaria a really good counter to Medicham, even though they do have Ice Punch. In situations where it's pretty fresh, those counters are not going to take us out, which means I'm in the driver's seat right here. I can safely shield, go for another Sky Attack, and if they want to stay in this fight, I'll push it to the 2 shields and farm down with Dragon Breath, because we have such a good matchup with Galarian Stunfisk to Pidgeot. So we're going to go ahead and go for another Sky Attack right here. We land it, down goes the Medicham, and in comes a Swampert. So this is perfect. Dragon Breath is just shredding it apart. We can align our Shadow Dragonite to the Shadow Swampert, and we can align our Galarian Stunfisk to the Pidgeot to close this game out. So they're going to go ahead and swap out. I swap into Galarian Stunfisk, and they surrender. That is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, we got Stunfisk on the lead versus Noctowl with the hat. Love to see it. It's a beautiful hat. We will see them swap out into their own Galarian Stunfisk. Now, this is even worse. It's like a positive lead into a Pokemon I have to stay in against in a matchup that I really despise because I hate the lead matchup. And they decided to go for Rock Slide right there. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake. I basically 9 times out of 10, I go for the Earthquake. Whenever I throw the Rock Slide, it gets no shielded. That's just my luck. So what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to go into double shields. And they go for another Rock Slide. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind with these Rock Slide baits. So now what I need to do is catch the charge move once again and maintain my Galarian Stunfisk health. We get 2 shields, so all shields are down. That's fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Altaria to catch the charge move. And if this is another Rock Slide, I swear, no, it's an Earthquake. We caught it. Beautiful. Good job, Altaria. All right. So now we still have our Galarian Stunfisk for their Noctowl. Granted, all shields are down, and we are getting rid of Galarian Stunfisk here. They're going to go ahead and go for back-to-backs, but hopefully I can get this Sky Attack off. I'm thinking maybe I could get to Moonblast. Maybe it does a bit more. I'm just like, just go for the Sky Attack here. Get that guaranteed resisted damage in, and they decide now to swap into Noctowl. So they banked energy on their Galarian Stunfisk, which is obviously problematic for me. So what we're going to do is go for the Sky Attack here. They're going to go ahead and they're going to go ahead and go for the Sky Attack. Now, the question is, do I come in with Galarian Stunfisk or do I come in with Dragonite? I'm thinking I'm going to come in with Galarian Stunfisk to soak the energy because they're likely going to go for a Shadow Ball right here. Then I'm going to make a ballsy play. I'm going to go into Shadow Dragonite. Let's keep my energy on Galarian Stunfisk. Farm down with Dragonite. That way I have energy. If Galarian Stunfisk wants to come back in, I'm going to win that CMP tie. And let's see what comes in. It's going to be a Lantern, so I'm going to overload on energy, go for Dragon Claw, and we're going to see if we can pull this off. First Dragon Claw, well, obviously it's going to land. They have no shields, but we do get to a second one in time, which means they're going to get extremely low. And remember, we saved the energy on our Galarian Stunfisk. So, this is going to be very close. We're going to have to throw the Earthquake against the Galarian Stunfisk if they swap in. We're going to come in. They're going to swap out. I throw the Earthquake right away. Get this thing out of there. I do not want to have a CMP tie because I think they were slightly off from their own Earthquake. And now we're going to Mud Shot down. And we get it. Beautiful game right there. Able to take the W. That was a dicey one, and this team did so well for me on Go Battle Day. Hopefully you guys have been playing, been getting a lot of Stardust, got that Elite Charge TM as well, and this team was a lot of fun. Galarian Stunfisk, Altaria, Shadow Dragonite, Double Dragon backline. Very fun team to use. So like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.